With every journey comes lessons that you need to learn. I was in my mom's womb, and she prophesied that I would actually be Miss South Africa.
So I watched episode 1 of season 2 of Miss South Africa's Crown Chasers, and guys, I must say, this year I don't think we're gonna be bored with this show, because I've complained about last year's Crown Chasers. Okay, listen, last year Crown Chasers was in its infancy. Okay, they didn't necessarily know what they were gonna do with it, but this year I feel like they've made it so much more exciting. It feels like an actual competition now. Last year I think they just wanted to have Crown Chasers as a way to get to know the girls and what. And you all know that we, or I should only speak for myself, I rather, already stalked all of the women in advance. Okay, so I know all about you. I don't need you to tell me anymore, because I already know. You already know. If you're watching my channel, then you would already have known all of the information they have given in Crown Chasers months in advance when the girls first entered Miss South Africa, okay? But this year it is sort of America's Next Top Model-esque. They have challenges and they have behind the scenes sort of confessionals, and it's just so much more fun because you get to gauge the girls' personalities, their body language, all of that, so much more in this way. So episode 1 was chock full of things to take note of, and there are, guys, eliminations. I love it. So episode 1, we started with the first challenge. By the way, Zozi is hosting, which first of all is the only reason I need to watch this show. They had to do a networking challenge, which I think it's interesting that they started Crown Chasers off with a networking challenge, because that is such an important part of being a crowned representative, of being a title holder. Being able to work with people is essentially the biggest job that a national or international or even local title holder has to have. You have to have that personality, the people skills, the ability to engage with people, and that is exactly what they were tested on. So a couple of sponsors were invited to this cocktail party or whatever, and they were each given a little token. And so while the top 12 were chatting to all of these sponsors, at the end of the event, the sponsors had to vote for who they felt they made the biggest connection with. And my queen, Melissa, won this challenge. Guys, I cannot tell you how much Melissa solidified herself as my actual Miss South Africa during Crown Chasers episode 1. I adored Melissa during Crown Chasers episode 1. Natasha, on the other hand, was another story, because Natasha came second in this networking challenge, right? But then during her confessional, she sounded a bit entitled.
Very, very honest. I really did feel like I was winning this one, which obviously I didn't, so I was a bit disappointed.
Anyway, we'll have to see where it goes with Natasha, because, by the way, guys, did you know it's like an actual thing now that the winner of Miss South Africa has to go to the Miss Universe pageant. And so Natasha, if she wins, Miss South Africa can't send anyone to Miss Universe, because only the winner is allowed to go according to the rules. So if Natasha were to win Miss South Africa, we couldn't send anyone to Miss Universe even if we wanted to. That's how I understand it. If you understand it a different way, let me know in the comments. So with Natasha, I don't know what's going on. Why is she competing? Maybe because we don't have Miss World anymore. Only thing I can think of is to go to Miss Supranational, because I don't think the Miss South Africa organization would have picked out the license for Miss Universe again just not to be able to send someone. So I don't see how Natasha could win. I don't see it possibly happening. there's just, if think about it, it doesn't make sense. Okay, so moving on from Natasha. So they had this little networking challenge or whatever, and then at the end of the networking challenge, they obviously got the results back and Melissa won, which I was very pleased with. And then they had a photo shoot with Asia Fun Sale, and these are actually the photos that were released in order to make the top 12 known, which beautiful photographs, especially the one of Natasha, I loved. During this photo shoot, the girls were also sort of judged on how well they took direction from the photographer, and you know, I love a photographer that gives good direction. A lot of the girls were pretty awkward, you know, they didn't really know what to do as it was probably their first time or whatever, but as expected, and as Zosie also said, the girls who came back, you know, Keaoleboga, Melissa, Natasha, etc., they all did pretty well in the photo shoot challenge. Other than this, the girls also had a runway and speaking challenge. So they did a lot of pageanty things this episode. They had like 3 challenges which they had to do. I count the photo shoot as a challenge because I do think that the girls were judged during the photo shoot, right? During the runway challenge, I know that directly after Crown Chasers came out, a lot of people were dogging on some of the contestants' walks. I don't remember specifically seeing anyone with a bad walk, although I must comment on Jordan's walk. Listen, okay, I'm not a runway model, you're probably not a runway model, but why does Jordan is a runway model? That's what I don't understand. She has walked for Sherry Hill. Why do her knees do that? I do not understand why Jordan is doing this very strange walk on the Miss South Africa's little stagey that they have there in their little studio filming their thing. I think Jordan is trying to do too much with her walk, perhaps. Maybe that's the problem. And she maybe a runway walk. No, I shouldn't use the word maybe, because it's definitely a fact that a runway walk is different from a pageant walk. And so I think Jordan needs to step into her pageant shoes once again and maybe work on her walk, honestly. Speaking of Jordan though, I'm gonna get upset now because Jordan has been my favorite throughout this process, but episode 1 of Crown Chasers really didn't lift Jordan's value in my eyes. I feel like she was so concerned with herself and how she's doing and the challenges and all of that, and immediately with the networking, she started off with "this isn't my strong suit."
And I'm thinking to myself, that's not my strength. It was really uncomfortable for me.
What do you think Miss South Africa does? 90% of what Miss South Africa is expected to do has to do with attending events, networking, building relationships and maintaining relationships with sponsors. So, pretty important part of being Miss South Africa, I would say. So she immediately goes in with this negativity. You understand what I mean? Obviously her pictures came out amazing and whatever. I just didn't like Jordan's vibe during episode 1 of Crown Chasers. She came across very negative, very insecure, sort of borderline, I have to say. And then her walk was also a bit iffy. But overall, obviously, this is the top 12 of Miss South Africa, so nobody was offensively bad. Levern is still there, however, can't wait for the episode where she resigns. Do you guys think they will specifically address that or not? Because I don't know whether or not they will, but it should be interesting. I have to straighten out my legs, they are dying. Oh. 2 girls who obviously did impress as well was Homba and Lungo. I adore these two. Homba to me has just gotten way more impressive as time goes on. You know, in the beginning she had sort of this sort of boyish type of style about her, but I've always loved the way that Homba speaks and carries herself. You can just tell that she is just such an engaging person. I love how Homba has just chosen to style herself in a more feminine way for episode 1 of Crown Chasers. I really like Homba. I really like Homba. So Homba could be a front runner for me. Lungo, obviously, she's just adorable. She's just the most cutest little thing. And the judges sure tend to speak well of her. They seem to love her, so I love that. Speaking of judges, for the runway and speech challenge, the judges were Bonang Mateba, of course, our Lord and Savior, Leandi Durant, who keeps getting involved. I think she might be friends with some of the producers or people in charge of Miss South Africa. You know, she's an actress. Is she my favorite actress? I don't think I've watched an Afrikaans movie since Bakgat in 2008, so I should probably not speak on this. Moving on, and then we had Tamron Green, who of course is another fave. She was Miss South Africa 2018 and also the first runner-up of Miss Universe 2018, so I absolutely love Tamron. And overall, I think that this little panel of judges that they've assembled was pretty good, and they, you know, I trust these women's opinions. Obviously, Bonang being Bonang, having hosted South Africa so much and things like that, I definitely trust her opinion. Leandi has also judged Miss South Africa before, and obviously Tamron having been Miss South Africa and first runner-up at Miss Universe, amazing. And of course Zosie as well. Zosie, of course, our Miss Universe 2019. So guys, Crown Chasers this year definitely is starting off as a very positive experience for me, and it's gonna make me very excited every Sunday. I think it's Sunday when it comes out. Gonna be very exciting. But overall, the bottom 3 for the week, or not the week, the bottom 3 for episode 1 throughout all of the challenges were Ané, who I was very upset about because I love Ané. You guys know I like Ané a lot. Lebohang, and of course, what's the other one? Can't remember who the other one was right now, but I think I'll just put her name up on screen during editing. But yeah, those were the bottom 3 guys, and at the end of the day, they actually made these 3 women talk about why they deserve a second chance, and then they axed one of them anyway after giving this, you know, little talk about why she deserved to stay. And I feel like this is so heart-wrenching. I feel like it's way more humane to just have a pageant and eliminate like 15 girls or 5 girls at once instead of just eliminating one at a time. So cruel. But anyway, Lebohang ended up being the one going home. Poor girl. But yes, but now, yeah, I don't know. Ané needs to step up her game because I really like her, and I don't want her to disappoint us. Besides that, the judges were speaking very fondly of Anke and also Bryoni. So I'm excited to see where they're gonna go. As of right now, obviously Melissa having won the day was my fave. Natasha, I don't know about her, because listen, I love Natasha as much as the next person, but with this new Miss Universe rule, I don't see her winning Miss South Africa. Of course, I hope she does the best that she can. And then Keaoleboga, of course, still a favorite. Homba recently became a favorite. Oh, so amazing. And honestly, with Jordan, I just don't know right now. So after her performance in episode 1 of Crown Chasers, she needs to step up the confidence. She needs to like, what is the English word? She needs to vat voor, you know. She needs to take some leadership, because right now she's not really one of the strong personalities, which is something that I think is so emblematic of a Miss South Africa. you can say what you want about Miss South Africa, but she's never been a meek little sheepy hiding underneath the bush, okay? Miss South Africa is usually a strong personality. If you look at Lalela, if you look at Shulufatsu, if you look at Zozi, Miss South Africa is usually someone who is a natural born leader in whatever capacity that is. And so I'd like to see a bit more of that from Jordan. I'd like to see a bit more of self-assurance, even if it is bordering on hubris, as in the case of Natasha. I'd like to see more of that, because I feel like right now Natasha is at one end of the spectrum where she has perhaps a bit too much expectation of herself and how high she can reach, whereas Jordan, I feel like, doesn't have enough confidence, right? So I'm hoping that Jordan can step it up. She can step it up in terms of her confidence and not start off challenges being so negative. And yeah, and Jordan's, her walk also, the knees, they need to stop being so bended, please. Thank you. Okay, guys, let me know what you guys thought about episode 1 of Crown Chasers. I would love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.